Come. Come. Middle. Heel. Down. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yes. Good job. Shall we do a video? Hang on. Back it up, girl. Hang on, wrong way. Better center of frame, let's frame it. You in? You love doing videos with Dad, don't you? You're gonna see us both. Eye boogers, mate. What are your eye boogers? Huh? Can you clean your eyes? You lick your butt a lot. You clean your butt a lot. Oh, you do, don't you? Why can't you lick your buddy eye boogers out? Good job. G'day guys, welcome to Lucy's channel, Lucy Lane, the Queen of Balmain. Today we have part 2 of our Q&A, which we're going to stuck into very shortly. But first, quick update with us. Hope you enjoyed the B-roll that we got just before, because that was practically illegal. I was walking my dog. Nah, we were allowed to be there. But people do look funny at you when you carry a camera around in lockdown. And yes, we are still in lockdown, probably for another 2 weeks. So apologies in advance for the lack of content, just because it's pretty locked down here. You can only really leave your house to walk the dog, exercise, get essential food and medical items, and that is literally it. Lucy is upset with the lack of adventures. Again, we can't travel like 10 kilometers outside of our radius. But anyway, that is enough of that. We're all okay. You know what? It could all be worse. It could all be worse. So look, to be honest, we're just chilling out watching some Netflix. Lucy is eyeballing a dog across the street. They're wondering why it's outside and why she's not. But anyway, let's get stuck into part 2. What dog do you want to get next after Lucy? Goose, do you want to answer this one? I'm still going to get another German Shepherd. I love German Shepherds, but I'm not going to get another German Shepherd from Lucy's breeder, where Lucy come from. Not because there's anything wrong with him. Lucy's an amazing dog. Yes, you're an amazing dog. And he literally makes some of the best West German stray lines that anyone could get, possibly in Australia. But after having Lucy, I really know what I want for the next German Shepherd. Now, there's an amazing breeder in the US called Tailor-Made Working Dogs. Essentially, I would love to get an import from them one day when circumstances permit, but that is definitely, if I can make it happen, that's where I want my next dog to come from. And something on the lines of like a check line shepherd would be amazing. All right, next question. How often do you bathe Lucy? Great question. So now when it comes to soapy baths, probably only around 5 or 6 times a year. The reason why I only do proper soapy baths 5 or 6 times a year is because I don't want to strip the oils, the healthy oils from Lucy's coat. If you do bathe them with soap too much, you'll strip them and they can get skin irritations and all those sorts of things. Now, on the other side of that, Lucy does a lot of swimming at the beach multiple times a week. She's in salt water, and I actually use that, keeps her smelling really nice, and also I think attributes to her really clean and like nice glossy coat. But on the flip side of that, she has to get a freshwater rinse down every time she comes out of the ocean, because she has skin irritations and the salt water will develop those more. So soapy baths 5, 6 times a year max, but freshwater rinse down, she'll get multiple a week, just because it's fresh water, and it's just to get the salt water out of her coat. But as I said again, the salt water keeps her coat smelling We don't have that gross dog smell, which is amazing. Hey Goose. All right, next question is, how long do West German show lions live for? Very good question, Luce. How long do you live for? I would say they live for, well, generally speaking, I think German Shepherds can live for anywhere between 9 and 14 years old. Now, I was lucky enough with Lucy. I actually got to meet her great-grandfather. Now, he was a 15-year-old German Shepherd, as healthy as a 15-year-old German Shepherd could be. He was in such good condition, and this is the day I picked up Lucy. He was in such good condition. He looked like he was probably an 8 or 9-year-old dog, not 15. So I think obviously that comes down to good breeding, good genetics, and obviously a good life. So yeah, I'm hoping to get 15 solid, wonderful years out of Luce. Hey Lucy, is that what you want? Yeah, what happens if I give you some chicken? Will that be better? Does it make life better? Yes. Yeah, you cheeky. All right, next question is, what do you do for Lucy in the winter? Do you still take her out when it's negative 40 degrees? No, we don't have negative 40 degrees here in Australia. I think the coldest it can possibly get to around the negative 10 degree mark, and that's up in the snowy mountains. Where we live in Sydney, never gets colder than probably 5 or 6 degrees at night. Maybe once in a blue moon, every 5 years, we might get 0 degrees exactly where we live. But apart from that, no, it's pretty good. Lucy gets out nearly every day, year round. There's no dramas there. I wouldn't know what to do in negative 40, to be honest. I've never experienced that at all. As I said, the coldest I've ever experienced is around negative 10 degrees Celsius. Next question is chicken. Good job. Next question is, we got our German Shepherd Rescue at 6 months old. Now she is 1 year and 3 months old, and she still gets very mouthy with my wife and I from time to time. We've been grabbing her mouth and telling her a loud no every time, but it doesn't seem to have worked. Wondering if you might have any other ideas on how to break this up. So what I would do as well as this, one, if you're stuck, just get a dog trainer. Just pay for 1 session, work on these things. You could probably knock it out in literally an hour session with them. But also what I would do, and what I have done with Lucy in the past, is she was quite a mouthy puppy. I would also do what you said, grab her on the snout and say loud no. But if I didn't do that, I would also redirect her with her toys. So she would kind of get a bit mouthy with me, and I'd just bang a toy in there, and she would latch onto that and would have a bit of a play, and I'll just get her to release, and that's it. And then if she was mouthy with me and I didn't have the toy, I'll just continue the loud, no, grab a little snout. That's all I did for that. Now, if that doesn't work or you're having trouble with it, do see a dog trainer. Like, I am not a dog trainer by any means. So please take what I say and what I do with a grain of salt. What has worked for Lucy may not work for you guys. All right, next question is actually a couple of questions in one, so I'm just gonna answer them through one after another. What time of the day do you feed Lucy? We feed Lucy at the end of the day, late afternoon to early evening, sometimes mid to late-ish evening, just depends. Now, she only gets 1 meal a day, and we break that meal up into 2 meals, but it's the size of 1 meal, but it's just portioned out into 2 smaller portions for her. The next part of this question is, do you exercise her before or after eating? Now, 99.99999% of the time, Lucy only gets fed after she's done her training and after she's done her exercise. And the next part of this question, how long before or after eating do you exercise her? So if you're gonna feed your dog breakfast in the morning, for instance, you make sure that your dog shouldn't consume food either an hour before you go exercising to an hour after exercising. But outside of that realm is safe. So I think the exact calculation is no food 45 minutes prior to exercise and no food 45 minutes after exercise, but I just round it off to an hour just because it's easier, and what's the extra 15 minutes? A little bit safer. And that's mainly because larger dogs, especially dogs like German Shepherds like Lucy, their stomachs can flip inside them and kill them. And Lucy has unfortunately had some of her friends pass away from this in the past, and not to the owner's fault nor the dog's fault. Sometimes these things just happen regardless. But this is the best way to mitigate that risk. in my personal opinion. Lucy, you are earning some chicken today, darling. You just sit. She's so gentle when she just plucks the food from your fingertips. You're just such a gentle girl, aren't you? It's really awkward, isn't it? Our neighbour from across the road keeps staring over into the window here, and it's a bit weird. He's kind of like, what's this dude doing? They can see clearly. They've got the camera set up. Lucy's sitting here just chilling. He's like, what the fuck? I can literally see what he's thinking. Like, this must look ridiculous, right? Anyway, next question is, are you still having problems finding a house with Lucy in Sydney? And how do you train Lucy on hot days? Do you do it inside or outside? Good question. So we are still finding, so hopefully we're actually supposed to find out today whether we've been approved for a new property here in Sydney. On the other side of Sydney, in a beautiful little suburb called Edgecliff, right near where Flick works and right near the place where Lucy goes to the beach. And it actually backs on to an amazing dog park. And this dog park overlooks like the harbour bridge in the city, and it looks pretty epic. So I cannot wait to move there if we get approved. We should find out today, and we'll keep you guys posted on this journey, this never-ending journey. As for training Lucy on hot days and exercise, yeah, we just go, so the Australian summer, very freaking hot, like 35 to 40 degrees Celsius, days and days and days and weeks on end. That happens in Australia quite often. So we pretty much training, exercise early in the morning or late in the evening, or both. You wouldn't take your dog out. No one goes out in the middle of the day here. You die from heat exhaustion. It is horrendous. Alrighty guys, next question. Now this is a super controversial topic. What age did you spay Lucy? And did you let her go through one heat cycle first? And any advice around, and if so, any advice around heat cycles with German Shepherds? Now, Lucy is spayed. We got her D6 at just over 6 months old. Now, this was through the recommendation of our vet at the time, and this was just the best decision for us at that current time with the information that we've had. Now, we've had no problems with Lucy since then. On the flip side of that, I've also heard from other medical professionals that getting your female desexed too early is not the best thing to do, because they can have growth deformities and things, and the hormone that stops them from growing can be shut down or suppressed or something along the lines of that, and they can grow larger than normal. So this, I am not sure what the right or wrong thing to do. On the flip side of that, I've also seen and heard information that states that, you know, if you don't get your young female desexed early on and you let them have a heat cycle, they can be more prone to things like cancers. Again, I am not a professional, nor am I saying this is true or not true. These are just some of the things I've been told. So what I think you need to do is stay out of Facebook forums for number one, because you're going to get a whole other different range of opinions. But I think the best thing that you can do is speak to your vet, and then weigh up with your vet what they believe the right thing to do for you and your dog is, and then you need to take that information and see what the vet recommendation is, what you guys should do as a dog owner and family, and most importantly, what the right thing to do for your dog is and situation. So, and then you can get your answer from that. But yeah. So that's my answer to that. It's not really should you or shouldn't you. It's what the right thing for you is, your dog, and what your vet recommends. All right, next question is, how do you clean up after your dog after it poops on the ground? Now, I thought this was self-explanatory, but coming to think about it, there is actually some technique and things that I have learned over the last 3 years of doing this. So, the first thing I do is I make sure I have a biodegradable bag. That's I'm not a a hippie, but I like to, if I can do one thing good for the environment, look, I'll use a biodegradable bag. The next thing is make sure you get the thick bags. Don't use thin bags. I've used thin bags before. You puncture it, enough said. You get dog shit all on your hands. It's gross, not good. Especially because then I'm operating a camera too. We get muck on that. It's just get a thick bag. Trust me. The next thing is try to avoid letting your dog poop in long grass if possible, because trying to scoop it out of long grass, literally shit gets everywhere. And another piece of advice is try to train your dog to poop on the grass, just being short grass, or in like gardens and things where there's like mulch, you can pick it up. That's the best place for your dog to poop. Don't let them poop on the footpath. I hate that, man. I hate dogs that shit on footpaths and roads and just on grass. Or that's what we've done with Lucy. We trained her to go to the toilet on things like grass and in gardens. So that's my advice around cleaning up after your dog. And then also, if your dog has diarrhea, always, you know, sometimes they can stand in it, so just clean their paws before they let them come inside. And sometimes you might have to wipe their butt. Now, that was the weirdest thing I ever did with Lucy when she was a puppy. She got diarrhea a few times, so I had to clean her ass. I just got these little soft baby wipes. It was very weird, but we've come a long way since then. And now if she gets diarrhea, it's just a no-brainer. She's actually a very good aim. I've got to admit, I must admit, it's amazing. There's been days I've gone, Lucy, holy shit, how did you not get any of that on you? She's a good aim. So, but the odd time I've had to, you know, put my dad gloves on and give it a little wipe, but it is what it is. Okay, next question, guys. This is also a bit of a controversial topic. What is your opinion around the stereotypes of German Shepherds and other dog breeds like Pit Bulls, Bullies, Rottweilers, Dobermans, etc.? Now, I love all those dog breeds, by the way. I think they're all epic. Now, the whole stereotype thing annoys shit out of me, especially because like Lucy and I and Flick, we're trying to get a new property at the moment, and it's really hard to combat that when we keep getting declined because they are worried, concerned for the safety of other people in the building or property or complex because we own a German Shepherd. Now that's really, that's kind of concerning that people still have these very narrow opinions around this dog breed, and other dog breeds like it. So that annoys me. But what annoys me more is, I hate to admit it sometimes, but I can see why they think this. And a few weeks ago, if you asked me this question, I'd be like, man, they're the most loveliest dogs in the world. And they are. They personally are, and I still believe that. But what was, I suppose I had like a woke moment, right? Where Lucy and I went for a run the other day, and we went on a big 8K jog. We're having a great time, listening to music, chilling. Lucy's just jogging beside me, loves it. And on this one run, we encountered 3 German Shepherds. Now, I was super excited because I didn't even know there's 3 German Shepherds that lived in this part of town, let alone on this one run. Epic. Anyway, all 3 of these German Shepherds were completely untrained, had incompetent fucking owners, and like we're jogging past me, these dogs are lunging at Lucy and I couldn't believe it. I was like, fucking assholes, not the dogs. No, man, these dogs could be sorted out pretty quick with the right training and the right people. They're good dogs, man. Just these people, they're dumb owners. The just incompetence blew my mind. So these dogs are like, and one of the owners, man, was like a small female, the size of my wife, and she's got a 35, 40 kilo dog lunging at Lucy and I could see the dogs dragging her towards us. And I'm like, and barking vicious, and people were stopping and looking, and I'm like, me and Lucy kept on jogging, and I was ready for if the dog come up to us and you know, and a fight broke out between it and Lucy, I'd have to deal with that. But it was, look, I was disappointed to see that the other side. I was ashamed to be like, fuck, you know what, man? Like, it just annoyed me. I kind of got like, yeah, I get it when the real estate agent says, oh, this is an aggressive breed, because if they're seeing shit like this on their Sunday afternoon walk, lunging German Shepherds, like, I get it. It doesn't help our case. And it doesn't help the case of people who put in work like I do. Oh my God, she's falling asleep. Wake up, mate, wake up. It's kind of funny, but so I'm having a bit of a rant now, but I think it's warranted. Guys, I'm gonna finish up ranting and raving next, especially in that last one, bit of a touchy topic, but it's raw, it's the truth. It's, you know, it's just, it is what it is. But guys, some big news actually. We are launching our Patreon account very, very shortly, so please feel free to jump on there and support us on there. Our Patreon members will be getting exclusive content, kind of behind the scenes, and a lot of behind the scenes content on how we do things, how we set things up and film, and just a lot of behind the scenes like life of the German Shepherd, life with Lucy, what goes on in our day to day that most people don't actually see online. Like, what you see on these videos here is just 1% of what goes on in our lives and Lucy's little life. But we're gonna also be doing lives on there as well. So certain times of the week, we're gonna be hosting live streams, and it's gonna be like Q&A, so you can just talk to us directly, just like this. But obviously live, so it's gonna be pretty epic. So if you do want to directly contribute to the channel, any contributions would be amazing. There's gonna be different packages on there. and it's everything that we get from there is gonna help us. It's just gonna support the channel so we can keep growing it and growing it. Now we've got heaps of cool things coming up as well. We're gonna be doing a lot of camping and exploring the outback in the up and coming months. The Australian outback is absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to get out there and explore it with this pup sleeping under the stars. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, please again, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share our videos, and we'll see you in the next one.